evening and welcome to Malaysia Social History News. I'm your host today. Today we are going to look at the Malaysian student movement and how it arises in our country today. As we know that the student movement was social force that bring along the awareness, even though the struggle on the politics, economics, and social change. The movement also led to nurturing the people in the country for today. Before time, we can define that the Malaysian student movement will exist for a long time due to the influences of Islamic movement in the past and cause at Middle East and Southeast Asia. The arising of the pan-Islamic movement have been reformed, and it not only resulted to the immigration of the foreign students to come to Malaysia, and it also resulted the Malay students have to organize themselves in the student organization. Next, we can see nowadays the Malaysian student movement were influenced by the Indonesians, and the influence from the Indonesians, they are focuses on Malay students movement, and it can clearly seen in 1930. Therefore, in that time, all the reading material include the book or magazine that we can see it now. They are import from the Indonesia, and all these books have import for the college student in the Sultan Idris Training Center, which we call in short form is SITC. In nowadays we are calling as University Pendidikan Sultan Idris UPSI. Why SITC and what is that? SITC was a university that have produced many nationalist students. Like example, we say that Ibrahim Yaakob. Before that, he have received a lot of influence from the student movement part, which is implementation by the Indonesia. Next, it can see the formation of Sumpah Pemuda Indonesia has become an encouragement for the Ibrahim to organize the students movement in SITC. Nevertheless, Ibrahim also support to the idea of the Indonesian Raya, and is that result the unite students to identify themselves in the organization. In others, we can also see the influence of the Indonesian to the SITC have formed two different alliances, which are Young Students Alliance, which in Malay we call Ikatan Pemuda Pelajar, and Borneo Students Alliance, Ikatan Pelajar Semenanjung Borneo. Besides that, we can also see the emergence of Kesatuan Melayu Muda KKM, and it is a news vehicle. We can say it's a new thing for the young Malays to struggle against the British, but KKM later on unfortunately had been banned by the Japanese as well. Now, as usual, we can see after we getting the independence of Malaysia, we call the Merdeka, and now we can see the SITC has changed their name to University Pendidikan Sultan Idris UPSI, which is now the university. It create the intelligence and professional senior teacher. Finally, we can also see from the University of Malaya with UM. We can see the event that happened for the Malaysian student movement. The University Malaya were opened a new chapter in student movement in 1949, and it moved concentrate in campus and focus on national and international issues in the post-independence, which nowadays. So we can also see that in the UN, in the developing or development, we can see there are three key of the new organizations which organize the student movement in Malaysia, which are: first, the University of Malaya Students Union (UMSU). Next, University of Malaya Malay Language Society (PBNUM), and the Socialist Club (SC). But UM students, they try to become more independent and they want more autonomy. So apart from this, we can see that the University of Malaya Student Union (UMSU) had its own produce of the newspaper, and we can also found it, which it names Mahasiswa Negara. So therefore, and even though they have their own vehicle like the bus, and also they have their own canteen. So moreover, in UM they also introduced the speaker corner since 1966. Well, to end up our news today, we can conclude that the movement of the students in Malaysia now will see the change, and it all were affected by the influence and the creation of agency in the past. Nowadays, the university were as a place that creates the intelligence. That's all for today's news. Thanks for watching and see you next time. And remember, the COVID and the pandemic is still around us. So please obey the SOP that created by the Malaysians, and wearing the mask, keep social distancing, and sanitize your hand every time. Thank you and goodbye.